share the transformative power animals have over people is the Gentle Barn founder, Ellie and of course our pet rescue expert, Larissa. Welcome, lady.
Yes, I'm so glad you're here.
So, Larissa, I know you are such a big fan of the Gentle Barn, and you first fell in love with Ellie when you read her book, My Gentle Barn.
Yeah, so I have not yet been to the Gentle Barn. I can't believe it, but I am going. And I read your book just this past couple of weeks, and I am in love. You know, Ellie struggled as a child. She went through her own trials and tribulations like we all do, and she turned to animals to save her. And now, in turn, she has rescued thousands of farm animals and is using them to save other people.
Right.
And we're talking cows and pigs and horses and all these animals that you don't usually feel like you would connect to on that level. And then I just have to say, and then I promise I'll let you speak, this Facebook post that you posted says it all to me. It's a picture of a cow and it says they are not numbers, they have names, they are not objects, but sentient beings.
Oh my goodness, Ellie.
You're amazing.
So true. That's so sweet.
Thank you.
Ellie, your flagship location is here in Southern California. For those that haven't been, tell us a little bit about the sanctuary. What can people expect?
Yeah, so at the Gentle Barn, we basically take in animals that nobody else wants. They're too old, too sick, too lame, or too scared to be adoptable. And we bring them in and we rehabilitate them, get their bodies and their hearts mended.
Amazing.
And then then we give them sanctuary for the rest of their lives.
And it's beautiful. Look at that. It's like a
Incredible
spa.
work. I mean,
And every kind of animal, you wouldn't turn any animal away.
We rescue horses, cows, pigs, sheep, goats, chickens, turkeys, peacocks, llamas, dogs, cats, donkeys, and parrots.
It's heaven. It's heaven. It's
Just
so
about
amazing.
every animal. It's like
and
Noah's Ark.
they all have names. They all have backstories. It's truly remarkable. You do amazing work.
So you have rescued and given thousands upon thousands of animals a safe haven, but it all, and as well as goats, like you said, but it all began with one goat in particular, and that goat's name was Mary. Tell us about Mary and how she was so special.
Yeah, so the Gentle Barn was my dream since I was 7 years old, but it didn't come into fruition until about 20 years ago when I discovered a petting zoo I'd never seen before. So I went in just to be nosy, and I found a tremendous amount of suffering at that petting zoo. And it made me absolutely sick to my stomach, and I ran for the door. But blocking the exit was a very old goat that looked me in the eyes and said, "Please help me."
Oh my gosh.
And I couldn't turn my back on her. So I asked the owner if I could have her, and they said no. And I said, "Well, can I buy her? Name your price." And they said no. And I said, "Well, I'm going to stay here till you say yes." And I stayed there for 12 days.
12 days.
On the 13th day, she finally let me have her. I took her home and healed her. And a few months later, watching her bounce around the backyard as happy as can be just filled my soul with so much joy.
That's an incredible story. I mean,
It's-
talk about persistence.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And compassion for that matter as well. So obviously you bring these animals in, you transform them, but the Gentle Barn isn't just a safe haven for four-legged creatures. It also helps two-legged ones as well. I'm talking about humans. Tell us how animals can help us.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a first-hand accounting of how healing animals are because, as you said, I had a challenged childhood, and it was always animals that saved me. Right. And so at the Gentle Barn, once the animals are ready, we partner with them to heal people with the same stories of abuse and neglect. So we work with foster children, teens that are going through drug and alcohol withdrawal or trying to get out of gangs. We work with inner city kids and special needs children. And they come out, and through the interaction with the animals and the stories of the animals, they learn kindness and compassion and confidence and find themselves in the barnyard.
And I understand you don't make it about the person who's struggling. You make it about the animal, and through that, then they feel comfortable to open up as well.
Yeah, at every location, no matter what kind of population they serve, there are children that will not open up to traditional therapy because they're too angry and shut down. So when they come to the Gentle Barn, instead of making them talk about their experiences and their feelings, which they don't want to do, we tell an animal story. But when we tell the animal story, we're telling their story, and they heal from it.
And I think you were telling us about a boy who was completely angry, kind of staying off in the corner, didn't want to have anything to do with it, and through the storytelling of one of the animals just came to life and gave that animal a hug. And I think you can say it better, but said, "You're going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay."
I think a lot of these kids think they're alone with their own personal pain and no one understands them. But hearing their story be told through an animal's experience, they realize that they're not alone and it's happened to somebody else. And that if that someone else can learn to love and forgive and find joy again, that they can too.
It's really amazing.
Ellie, thank you
Really
so much. Thank you
fascinating.
so much for what you're doing. It's really important. It's so you're really wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
What a great message.
Unbelievable.
Find out how you can visit the Gentle Barn and how you can help this amazing sanctuary grow and thrive. Please check out thegentlebarn.org.
Coming up next, knitting queen Vicki Howell and 2018 Grammy Award winner Lisa Loeb are showing how to knit festive, bubbly bottle sleeves and cable knit wine cozies. Come on back, everybody.